Okay. So with your teddy bear, you're going to have your pattern piece, your fabric, your 2 pieces of fabric. You're going to have to unpin them. Before you take away your pattern totally, you need to make sure you mark these dots. These dots are important. This dot and this dot show you where to keep the from sewing. And this is important because if you sew there, then you won't be able to stuff the teddy bear or flip it right side out. These dots right here are so you have arms and legs and a face of your teddy bear. So you can put your finger there and you can turn and mark. If you want to do the angle that it's supposed to go at, you can do a curve. I usually put an X where I'm supposed to start and end sewing. If you don't want to do that, you can put a pin straight up and down. Then lift up the pattern piece so you see where you've pinned it, and then mark it there. Once you've marked it, you can take the pattern off. When you sew, you're going to want to look at the pattern so that you align your stitches with where you're supposed to sew. So the stitches on the paper show you where you need to sew. Start at the start point or the end, one of these 2 dots. Make sure you start there. Your seam allowance should be just as wide as your presser foot. When you start, make sure you back stitch, so 2 to 3 stitches after you've gone forward 2 to 3 stitches, and go forward from there. This is so that it won't unravel. Use your hands to follow the curve. Once you get to this point, you need to sew the leg. So you're going to have to kind of follow where you think it would be. If you need to draw a line of where you're supposed to sew, I'm fine with that. Once you get to the point where you've marked, keep the needle down. You're going to use your pivot turn. And you're going to come back to the leg. At each of these corners, you're probably going to have to pivot turn. So make sure the needle's down. So we're back to the arm. If you're looking at the pattern piece, you see it lines up with the cheek. So we need to make sure that we define the face of the teddy bear. So we're going to come in, put the needle down, we're going to pivot turn, come back to the cheek, curve like the cheek does on the pattern piece, come in a little bit. I'm going to turn my pivot turn so I can get my ear. It's okay if you need to stop so you can get the correct turn and your fabric will look the way you want it to. Make sure you're looking at your teddy bear. You can see that this piece of fabric doesn't really have the curve that it's supposed to right here. So make sure you're following what the pattern piece shows you. Some of your fabric isn't cut out perfectly, and that's where sewing it comes into play. Okay, so we're getting to the cheek again. We got to come out a little bit. Pivot turn. Got to make our cheek. Got to come in to this point. Make sure your needle's down. So you pivot turn back to the arm. Okay, we're coming to where we're supposed to end. So we're going to go do a couple stitches forward, and we're going to back stitch here. And this is where we're going to end. Make sure that you've done your back stitching, or else your fabric will come undone. Okay, from here, just double check that you don't have any holes. If there's some spots that you want to fix them. And then you're going to pull the fabric to the right side through this opening. You can end it.